Well, hello there. This is the 2014 Rolls Royce Wraith. This is the latest model in the resurgence of this 110-year-old company. You know, it all started back in 1904 when Charles Rolls and Henry Royce formed a partnership that culminated into this, arguably the most luxurious car on the planet. I recently spent some time with the fine people at Rolls Royce and learned about where the brand came from and where it's headed. For example, from 1910 to the late 1940s, they really only made the chassis and the motor. That was really Henry Royce's passion. And what he did is he would hand off the car to a coach builder. You would tell them exactly what you wanted. Now, starting in the late 40s and 50s, they started making their own vehicles, and that's really where the sedans and the coupes evolved. Rolls-Royce is certainly known for making the finest sedans on the planet, but today we're here to talk about coupes. So the history of Rolls-Royce and the coupes that they actually built starts in the 50s. It starts with the Silver Cloud, and that evolved into the Silver Shadow, followed by the Corniche in the 60s and 70s, and then the Camargue. So, some of those coupes towards the end, they were good, they were Rolls-Royces, but they just didn't have that power. Let's fast forward to modern times when BMW started getting involved. So in 1998, they purchased the rights to make Rolls-Royce vehicles. That's all they got were the rights. They built the plant, and in 2003, the first new Rolls-Royce came out under the BMW ownership, and of course, that was the Phantom. As far as coupes go, in 2007, they gave us the Phantom Drophead Coupe. Drophead is their way of saying convertible, and a year later, they came out with the Phantom Coupe. But now we have the Wraith. Wraith means the ghost or ghostly image of someone who recently died or is about to die. So something very dark for the brand, but I think they needed that to bring some younger, more spirited buyers into the brand. The Wraith is a bit of a departure from previous Rolls-Royce models. For example, the Spirit of Ecstasy, she leans a little bit more forward, implying a little more sporty. Of course, you have this offset grille, which is kind of unique for the Wraith. And what's under the hood is really menacing. This is the most powerful Rolls-Royce ever made. It has the same V12 6.6 liter engine that the other models have. However, at 624 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque, it is the most powerful. It propels this 5,380 pound beast to 60 miles an hour in just 4.4 seconds. That massive engine has made it to the world's first satellite-aided transmission. What it does, it marries the GPS system with the fabulous 8-speed automatic transmission, and it knows where you're located, and based on that, actually puts you in the right gear ahead of the curve. This is racing technology that was developed 10 years ago, and for the first time is being applied into a regular car. A lot of cars have power, but not a lot of them have presence, and this Wraith has presence. It all starts with this massive hood, or as the British say, bonnet. It's beautiful, it's very aircraft inspired. Next, looking at the wheels, every Rolls-Royce ever made, the height from the road to the top of the wheels is 50% of the overall height of the vehicle, and of course, the Wraith is no exception. It maintains those proportions. Now, you have these coach doors, which are amazing. Please don't call them suicide doors. Now, they say every car can be defined by 2 or 3 lines, and the Wraith has a beautiful line that is sculpted into the door. It makes the vehicle look a little more athletic, and of course you have these broad shoulders. This thing is just beautiful. It's been turning heads all weekend. I've enjoyed it, and I think this may be one of the most unique vehicles on the planet because it has so much presence. How much presence? Well, let's look at some of its competitors. Let's take the CL65 from Mercedes-Benz. This vehicle is 8 inches longer than that vehicle. How about the Bentley GT? Well, this is 2 feet longer than that vehicle. Even though this vehicle is 17 feet, 2.5 inches long, it looks and feels a lot more athletic, and a lot of that has to do with what's happening in the back. You see this tapered look, this fastback look. It just looks aggressive. And what's nice about Grand Touring Coupes is that they're really designed to take 2 people, even 4 people comfortably on a trip and have the cargo space to go with it. This cargo area, or boot as the British say, is huge. I put 4 big suitcases in here and there was still extra room. It really is one of the finest vehicles on the planet, and I think the best example of a Grand Touring Coupe ever. So you're probably wondering, how much does a Wraith cost? Well, the starting price is around $285,000, but let me tell you, no two Wraiths will be alike. They have this program known as Bespoke, and I found out recently what Bespoke stood for. Back in the 1700s in Savile Row in London, you would go and pick out a fabric for your suit, and that fabric was now bespoken for. It was now your fabric to use for your suit, and that's where the term comes from. Now, other car companies say they're bespoke, but true bespoke means you have 45,000 color options. That's what this vehicle has. You could put any wood in here. By the way, this door has more wood than any other door in any other vehicle ever made. It's pretty impressive. If you have some special exotic wood you want, Rolls-Royce can do it. You have this Starliner, or you can choose from the panoramic sunroof. If you choose the Starliner, you have 1,340 fiber optics that are hand placed into the liner. But let's just say your son was born, I don't know, let's just say April 10th in 1987, and you wanted to know exactly what the stars look like, where he was born on that particular day. They can find that out, and they can put that pattern into your Starliner. That's impressive. No, it's all about customization, and Rolls-Royce tells us that there are four major markets, the Far East, the Middle East, Europe, and North America. And they say if you come to the factory in Goodwood, England, you can actually tell where these vehicles are coming from, or where, I should say where they're headed, because of some of the customization, some of the colors. And it actually inspires people who are buying a new Rolls-Royce to come to the factory and see some of the unique options that different parts of the world are choosing to customize their Rolls-Royce. And a Rolls-Royce owner should never have to close his own doors. Now that's luxury. People who buy a Rolls-Royce are not necessarily buying it for the great technology, but every once in a while there are some really cool features. I think that this around view monitor is one of the best I've ever seen. The image is so clear, so high definition. And when you are spending this kind of money, you have certain expectations. But then again, you're really buying the whole experience, but it's nice when you get little features like that. All right, so let's get to what's really important. How the hell does this Wraith drive? Pretty damn amazing. This is a 5,400 pound vehicle that accelerates to 60 in 4.4 seconds. And with this satellite aided transmission, it's amazing when you're doing some canyon carving. This is just a great experience. I mean, you know, people don't really have to justify buying a Rolls-Royce. It's more of a reward for a great accomplishment, lifelong achievement, and what I like about the Wraith is it's a little more understated than the Phantom Coupe, for example, or as Rolls likes to say, less intimidating. Again, driving around this weekend, so many looks, so many thumbs up, but that's not even what this car is about. It's really meant to be driven, extremely comfortable. 6-hour drive from Phoenix to Los Angeles, and never felt tired. It was just, you know, infinite power, 110 miles an hour, and you still got plenty of juice to go. Great engine, nothing like a V12, and just this great ambiance. And the customization you could do with the Bespoke program really makes every Rolls-Royce an individual vehicle that has been custom tailored to that owner.